Hey guys, as promised, I'll be doing videos regarding to Denmark. So today we're going to be checking out a video titled How We Feel About America After Living in Denmark for 5 years. Mind ya, I live close to Denmark. Mind ya, I didn't know that Denmark was right beside Germany. I'm an idiot to Europe, but actually I'm learning so much as the time goes by, so I'm happy about that. Nonetheless, we're gonna be checking out this video right now, so please do like and subscribe and let me know what you guys feel about what will be taking place in the video. If you have any suggestions, leave those in the comment section or click the provided link and you guys can leave, video suggestions, whatever. You figure it out. You know how to use the internet. But nonetheless, let's get right into this video and find out how they feel about the United States after being in Denmark for 5 years.
Hello and welcome to Traveling Young, and today it's just Mai and I.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, Mom is Miranda. She's off on a work trip, and so we're just doing this, you and I. But I think it's an interesting topic that perhaps...
What y'all got in the back right here, bro? Damn! Look at the bag! Damn, bro! No! Look at that shit! They go hard.
She can maybe dive into.
Yeah, we can re-enter the subject
during the next live stream, so she can get her word in. But for now,
okay,
it's daddy and daughter. Now that we've been here 5 years, if you've been watching us recently on live streams and stuff, we've talked about our 5-year anniversary.
Yes.
We wanted to talk about how our perspective of the United States of America has changed since we've been living away from there now for 5 years. The daddy and daughter version of what we think about that on this week's Traveling Young.
One thing for sure is I won't be traveling young. I'll be traveling old because I'm broke and I can't afford to travel young.
All right, here we are, and let's dig into this topic of how we feel about the U.S. since leaving. And I want to start with this, which isn't country specific necessarily, but the idea that when you move away from a place, you get so disconnected from the people that you had otherwise had as part of your life. And that's one of the most difficult things when leaving, I find, and we talked about this in the live stream, is that friends that I had that I would hang out with and make plans with are making plans, and have been for 5 years now without me. And some of them I may never even get to hang out with again. Friends and family and stuff. And
it's crazy to think about, I think when we moved, we never really had the expectation that we were going to stay. But now it's so weird to think about, times you said goodbye to family or friends and not even knowing that might have been the last time that you'll ever see them.
Yeah, I hate to be super negative, but
why this shit sound like we had a funeral? What the hell are they talking about? Damn, they making shit sound grim, dog. Like, listen, I haven't seen my mom and dad in 2 flipping years, okay? And my sister, right? So what they're saying is really relatable, but I don't like it. I don't like that, dog. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see my folks this year.
No,
I don't think it's that negative.
But one of my aunts passed away over COVID.
Yeah.
And the last time I saw her was at my her mother's funeral, and she was probably one of the more closer to us. And she was healthy the last time I saw her, and she didn't die from COVID, but she passed away at that time, so I couldn't travel back for the funeral. And it was it's weird. I think one of the last things I said to her, was, she was always worried that we wouldn't come back and visit and stuff. I said, I'm going to come back. My baseball cards are here. Of course I'm going to come back. You'll see me again, and
this is depressing.
Yeah, those things, like it doesn't just stop in time when you leave and then restart again when you come back. Things are moving without you. Because of that then has an influence on what you think and feel about the country, because the people you're around, that you spend time with, that you have conversations with, that you have dinners with, they're the ones that also... that's where some of your feelings come from about where you're from. And if you're not talking to and spending time with those people as much, that has an effect on your feelings. Indeed. And so I feel myself in this 5 years so disconnected from the U.S. now. And the information that we get feels mostly negative because we're not around positive people. That we would have lunch with and go have coffee with and see in the supermarket that are Americans, that help kind of bring the humanity to the country.
And I feel like it's pretty rare being in Europe that you ever see a news story about something good in America.
Yeah,
Also, I mean,
I like they're hitting the truth right now. It's so true what they are saying. It is indeed true, right? Because you're not there to interact with those people that you'd interact with in a positive way. Remember, you're in the United States, you're in Europe, you go outside, you're interacting with people you know on a regular basis, and they're going to give you positive interactions, obviously, because you know them, right? And the sad part is when you no longer have those interactions and all you can see is the media, like literally all that is on my freaking YouTube page is politics because there's an election pending. Ironically, there's actually an election pending for Finland for the presidency election. Ironic. But that's what I'm saying. That's all you see. So there's rarely anything positive that you're going to experience in another country, regarding your home country, right? It's really wow. They make sense. Let me know what y'all think in the comments because I think they make a lot of sense.
In the supermarket, there are Americans that help kind of bring the humanity to the country.
And I feel like it's pretty rare being in Europe that you ever see a news story about something good in America. Also, I mean, like I get it. I mean, bad news stories are more interesting probably than a good story.
Indeed.
Well, yeah,
but
just news in general is to like people that just have normal days isn't news.
No, but yeah, it's just kind of hard. Just looking at the only news that we get is just like negative stuff, and never getting to see like the real good stories and real people and real lives that are happening there.
Yeah, and so I think because of that, we've kind of fallen into this. At least I have fallen into this situation that probably Europeans maybe have, which is,
perspective.
When you only see that, you start to associate that negativity with the country as a whole.
Perspective.
I mean, the country's massive physically, so when something bad happens in like California, that's
Indeed.
like ridiculously far from where my parents live in DC, for example. So it's not like on their front porch or anything.
Yeah.
And so you lose sight of scale and the fact that there's so many different communities and so many different, kind of types of people in America that all have different experiences. You lose all of that and you just see the stuff that is challenging that makes America feel like it's very polarized. Now,
I mean, it is polarized.
it is, but that feels like that. I agree 100% that it is.
Extent.
But I feel like that like magnifies the
I
polarization and make it seem like that's it. Like the people, but
everyone is hating each other or something.
yeah, and I mean when it comes to a little bit about politics, not specifically on any party or anything, but all parties, all politicians are basically actors at this point that are just creating a persona to be on TV and to try to have a policy that they say anti. The best politicians are the ones that you never see because they're just focused on policy and trying to fix problems, right? The ones that we see are the loud ones that are actually just actors most of the time, right? And
indeed,
that's the news.
most politicians are indeed fake. Majority of politicians are not going into politics because they want change. They're going it because they want power. There's a huge difference between change and power. Change is silent. Power is in your face. And that's the craziest part. A lot of people hear these policies and this and all of that. They're like, oh yeah, he's going to fix this. He's going to fix that. Nah, they're not going to do shit. Majority of them just want power, right? But as you can see, when you look at a country that takes political, politics serious and it's loud and it's everywhere, you can realize that changes are really rare. But the countries where politics is just so, like you're a politician, you're not even seen as anything special in that country. Usually it's very impactful. Usually it's actually a country that, boom, things happen.
That you get, and then you start to apply that way of thinking to everybody, which just isn't real.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a good way to look at the U.S. as politicians being a
Representative
microphone, which is ironic because that's what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be, representing large groups of people to be able to make their interests into a real thing. But I feel like what's happening is there's so many people who are just saying their opinions and it's not maybe matching a lot of the American people, and then like a lot of people outside of America, like Europe, just see that and think that everybody does actually think that way.
Yeah, and they're just like chasing sound bites and stuff too, where the humanity of things requires debate and conversation, not like a 3-second thing you say. I don't know if you remember, like you and I were watching something on TV, it was like a couple months ago. I think Mom was out of town, and it was just you and me, and it was like a thing on C-SPAN, which is like a local, I don't know. Well, it was on YouTube, but I think it was an interview from C-SPAN, which was like a local political U.S. thing that they just kind of non-biased politics stuff. And it was a Republican and Democrat talking about, I think it was like technology and the impact of China and all these countries on technology in the U.S. And it was like they were normal people talking like normal stuff. And I would normally not sat and watched this entire 20 minutes of them talking. But I'm like, I was comforted by the fact that they were like reasonably discussing with each other a topic that pertains to everybody and had a ton of common views on this. And that's the stuff you rarely see in politics.
I wish it was more how it was.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's there, but because
you just have to search for it. It's somewhere.
And since we've been gone so long, you like are less likely to search for it, and you're more likely to just kind of see those quick things.
Yeah, and click on the big news stories. It's like blah blah yelled at blah blah during the whatever.
But because of that, I mean, I have a fairly, I don't think negative is the right word, but not the most positive view of America at the moment, because I get very frustrated by all this polarization that I see, all this stuff in politics which dominates so much of the news that we see, less about average people doing amazing things. Yeah. And since we're so disconnected from the amazing people we've been friends with our whole lives, we're not seeing it from them because we're not engaging with them every day. It just makes it really difficult to not have this just kind of like, I don't know a more neutral word than negative, but view of the U.S. And then when I live my life here, I feel like things are kind of relatively okay and smooth. And I mean, we have some bumps occasionally, but nothing that's like ground shaking, the way that something can happen in the U.S.
Yeah. I mean, but, you also have to think about the fact that Denmark is 5 million people and America's like huge.
Yeah, I know. I understand that. But still, I mean, it's still a country.
It is.
And so I feel like I and this has been a progression over the time we've been here, and a lot of that has to do certainly COVID, because that disconnected us from the U.S. even more. For like 2 years, really, we didn't even go and see people, and so that really made it hard also and created a division. So now everything I see, I'm like, I feel like it's like a head palm moment every other day when I see news of something that's happened, and it's like, why aren't people trying to change this?
Yeah, like it just makes me wish I was there so I could like actually do something, because we're.
You wish she was there so she could do something. Hey man, this is bigger than us, bro. This is bigger than us.
I mean, since we're abroad, basically the only thing that we can do to like make a difference is vote.
Yeah.
And we can't like get out and like do stuff really.
Yeah, and this is this is one of the things where I feel guilty about moving here, because while we didn't move here for the purpose of getting away and escaping the politics, we also aren't helping at all. And I have good friends. One ran for Congress and was in the U.S. Congress for a term. Another one ran for local stuff. People that are like getting more engaged in policy. All this polarization is actually creating like a new generation of people wanting to be involved in politics to create change, which is positive. But I feel bad that we didn't participate in that. And maybe we should have. Maybe we should have, as Americans, tried to help create some change for the positive. And I feel a little guilty that we kind of bailed and came here.
But I also feel like after 2020, or during 2020, people, the average American person kind of realized that they can actually like go out and do something. Like I feel like before then it wasn't very, like the only like political events were like super organized, like really, really organized, like the women's walk and stuff like that. But I feel like after 2020, people realized that they can just go out, just, stand on the side of the road with, I don't know, some of their friends or something and just, I don't know, get out, make some difference, share their opinions. And I feel like I didn't really see that as much when we lived there.
I think it maybe skipped a generation, because I feel like my parents' generation, obviously, like that was during like all the civil rights issues and all that stuff. people were out doing things. My generation did like virtually nothing in terms of politically. And now your generation has this new cycle of needing to be engaged because of the polar.
Indeed, I do believe him because it was chaotic back then. However, with his generation, like he said, there was really nothing going on. Like, I think when politics became so intense in the United States was when Barack Obama probably was on his second term. When he was gonna go up for his second term, I think that's when things just became so heated. People out in the streets and everything just became chaotic. And I think it has been like that since that time, not since 2020, like she said. I think it's been since Barack Obama's second term. I think that's when things just became like so chaotic in the United States. Second term, like it. Whew, I remember watching the news back then, dog. I was like, flipping hell.
That we have today.
We're super into it.
And so I don't know if that's just like a human thing. If like we get some kind of like anthropologist to study like human evolution and when you go through these cycles. And we were in a down cycle as our generation.
I
we're
guess
just kind of like
historical
hanging
cycle.
tight. But now I feel bad and guilty. I haven't done enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is interesting. And no matter what, when you move away, your perception of home is going to change because you do disconnect more and more, especially when you made the decision to stay wherever you've gone to.
Yeah.
Now we're committed here, which makes it even more of a disconnect and puts us in a situation where this like perception of home is just not quite what it was. And I don't want to say I thought it was like rainbows and butterflies and stuff before, but I do think, all the information you can get, most of it being somewhat negative, also some of it not even being true, makes it hard to kind of like walk away feeling super positive. Although I know there are amazing people doing amazing things there, and when I'm home, I feel that way.
Yeah.
But that's just a week or 2 weeks a year.
Yeah.
And then we're back here. Anything else you want to share?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll continue this conversation on the next live stream, which will be May 9th.
Yeah.
It should be a good conversation when mama step in the picture. But it's real deal what they're saying. The perspective of the United States will always, change when you're in a different area. Like I'm guilty of this. I started doing research about college in Finland because obviously I'm here and I'm like, dude, I came here, I gave up on my opportunity of being in the university, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let me see how much it cost here. And I was actually shocked. I haven't spoken about this publicly until now, but I was actually shocked. I was like, yo, wait a minute. So it would cost me $50K a year to go to a private university or this university or that university. It would cost me this much in Finland. And I was like, damn, so it's actually cheaper. And then I saw something that was I was just like, whoa. I was like, the doctorate in Finland is free. Like, if you do doctorate in Finland, it is free. I'm like, no shit. I was like, what the hell, dude? But nonetheless, there's a lot of benefits that you'll, be open to when you, move to another country, and disadvantages and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, the truth is the lens that you're looking through is going to change. You're going to see things that you never saw when you were in that particular place. And it's real life. It's just the truth, so at the end of the day, I definitely agree with them. The perspective definitely will change, and it's likely going to be negative when it's the United States, because you don't really like sports. You'll probably stay connected, but you won't really get that engagement that you had before. And then you just look at the news and, it's all, it's just another mass shooting, another this. Like, the only things that make the news are toxic related things. So your perspective just changes, and it's like, dang. Even if you've never been in like one of these toxic situations, when you were in the United States, and you see it when you're not there, it's like, oh my God. And then it's like, oh my God, another one. Shit's crazy. But nonetheless, thank you guys for watching. Let me know your 2 cents in the comment section down below. I'm out of here. Peace.